Yeah, back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. Begging, I taught me never. Give me a shot and I oof.
And other topics, though, just for us to go ahead and segue into something else that happened recently that's affecting people and their occupation. Recently, we had an East Coast port strike, right, where workers at the ports and the docks on the East Coast were basically going on strike, not willing or wanting to work, right, not willing or wanting to import crates and containers, and there's various different reasons why. It's a very wicked world, bro. I keep saying that because some people say that it was because of a lack of pay, which, if you know the environment these people are working, I would agree as well. Like doing work like that, I think a lot of these jobs that we do need to be compensated more.
Right.
Especially if we're sending billions of dollars overseas, bro. Like we should be able to raise the minimum wage and start funding people more, especially these people who are importing our goods and our products, because they're literally the bloodline of the country, of the economy. If they don't import the chips, you're not able to get that iPhone that you're watching this on right now. If they're not able to import, the products and goods for you to go to the grocery store, to get toilet paper, for you to eat. You see what I'm saying? And America slowly but surely is going to slow down. And honestly, I'm surprised that they've came to a resolution as quickly as they did, because they said that right now it seems like they've stopped, or that they're working on some kind of agreement. Because I thought this might be going on a little bit longer than just a couple of days.
I see. And speaking of you saying days, I believe it lasted around 3 or 4 days. Now, don't quote me on this. I heard for every day that they went on strike, like, mind you, it was about 3 or 4 days, they said that equates to about a week's worth of things getting transported. So we don't see the effects.
$5 billion a day.
Yeah, and $5 billion or however many billions of dollars a day. We don't see the effects happening right now, but in the next week or two, we may see the effects. Prices may go up temporarily. Gas, grocery store prices as well. They may go up temporarily. And I want to talk about, like, people are criticizing these people for doing this, and dang, now the prices are going to go back up, or you're putting a halt to America. I think this is a good thing, and I'm affected by it too. I'm probably have to pay more for groceries and things of that nature. However, I like the mindset behind what these workers did, because to me it's very powerful. So many people who have platforms like this just at a bigger rate. Billy Carson, for example, you guys might not know him. He painted out a whole entire system that we can do in terms of getting the government's attention by everyone boycotting and not paying their bills, not investing into certain companies all at one time. You see what the port workers did. It was for almost 50,000 of them, and they stopped working and they almost shut down America. Imagine if just 30% of people were able to do the same thing with our dollar in terms of our consuming rate. We would shut down America as well. And this is why I see the power behind what we're able to do if we unify. It took almost 50,000 people in order to get the government's attention and for them to agree to a contract on their terms. We can do the same thing.
Only 50,000. It's literally only 50,000 if you think about it.
That's what I'm saying.
And with 50,000, them raising their pay wage, not only did they raise their pay wage, they're securing their job, they're ensuring their job security, because they also say they don't want automation to replace them in the near future, which is thinking 4, 5, 10 steps ahead. That is on you, port strike workers. Like, right. That's on y'all for organizing something like that and thinking about that, because that's critical thinking on a high level,
100%.
On a very, very high level, right? These are not just people who are just doing manual labor. These have to be intelligent people to organize something like this.
Right.
But also, if you think about it, the moment automation steps into an industry like that, they're done. And then after they're able to constantly bring in goods and products into America, there's this saying, when you're trying to conquer an empire, there's different bridges, there's different moats, there's different gates you have to get through to get to the king, right? If they didn't stamp their flag here and be like, hey, we don't want automation to come into our industry, right, and then automation did already, then it would be a lot easier for other industries to get automation as well, and then for those people to also leave. Because this is a prime example now.
Right.
I could just imagine another industry going on strike as well because they don't want AI replacing them, right? It might be something else like maybe truck drivers, you see what I'm saying, or railroad workers. I'm not too sure. But that's very powerful what they did. So it's surprising that they got a resolution so fast, just due to the fact that I was hearing other theories that the reason why they were on strike was not only because of the pay, not only because of the automation, right? They wanted better benefits because of the working conditions there as well, but also because apparently a lot of workers were talking about them hearing children screaming and banging coming from the container crates from the imports.
Interesting. Interesting.
And for me, hearing something like that is the definition of wicked work.
Yeah.
Is the definition of wicked, because if this is a government industry that is aware that we're having imports, and you guys been hearing about these complaints for years, this hasn't been something that's new. This has been going on for quite a while, couple of years now, right? You're hearing this, and then these workers are talking about how we're tired, something needs to be done, right? Why is this the thing? Whether it's human trafficking, whether it's people coming here illegally, right? Whether it's child trafficking because they're hearing children screaming. No children should be put in a crate regardless if they're running away from another country. I don't care what the reason might be. The fact that government been hearing about this and they're not. Hey, ready, bro?
Yeah.
But yeah, so just to kind of finish my last point, right? I think it's definitely, it's sad. It's sad hearing stuff like that because you don't know whether it's like fully true. Because of course, you know, you're not gonna, unless we actually hear a video or see somebody recording people doing it, or recording like the screams or seeing people come out of crates, you don't really know. But there's been so many stories of people being found in crates or dismembered bodies and body parts being in crates or being in somebody's backyard. There was literally a story of a police officer. He had a crate in his backyard, and when they opened up the crate, you just see dismembered baby bodies and dismembered. Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's very crazy. Literally, look it up, and it's wicked work.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know if it was in a police's backyard first or at the port, but I forget what port it was at. I heard the same story. It was in 1982, and there was a crate that was so heavy that they couldn't, like the crane wasn't able to pick it up, and they got direction to go ahead and open it and get some of the stuff out of there so they can lighten the load. And when the first person opened up the crate, he was distraught. He was in distraught. He couldn't believe what he's seen. And it's the babies that you were talking about that were cut up into pieces. And this is, I know this is like, this is very disheartening. But the backstory was that it had to do with babies that got aborted. And my question is, why are you keeping those body parts? Why cut them up as if they were, like a project, or why cut them up as if they were just some sort of object? Like this is was a living being. But nonetheless, there's
wicked work, bro. It's wicked work.
There's some things going on, and the reason why we mention that fact is because people might say, "Oh, yeah, y'all are just saying stuff. Y'all are just nah." Just like we mentioned earlier about questioning the government, you don't want to just believe everything that you hear. And even with that story, that's why I'm saying it's a possibility. But that 1982 act with the crate full of the little children, that's true. You guys can fact check that. It's just a crazy world we're living in, and we want to just shed some light on child trafficking awareness because it happens more than we think, and it's crazier it's more crazy than what we think. We get those Amber Alerts on our phones, and we just turn the notification off. And I'm not telling anyone to wear a cape on their back or anything like that. I'm just saying to be more aware and have more situational awareness if you have children or if you have a wife. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, men too, right? Men too.
100%.
Like, you know, there's a lot of wicked stuff out here. Like men being human trafficked as well, bro. It's a lot of wicked stuff. And the reason why I say, you know, like you said, right, that awareness is because don't put yourself in an environment to be compromised.
Exactly.
Right, and always, you know, survey your surroundings, always know where you're at, always be at the place that you're supposed to be at the right time. Don't be places you don't need to be at the wrong time. And the reason why I say this is because I do truly believe that we have a human trafficking problem in the United States that is just going so surface level that is going undetected. But there's probably a whole system, a whole city, a whole organization of underground human traffickers. Because look at this whole Diddy situation. Right. That's one of the biggest busts in the last decade. But not too long ago, we just had the whole Epstein situation.
And no one talks about that anymore.
And nobody talks about that.
And about the Epstein situation, no one mentions all the names that were on the list that went to the island and that had dealings with some of the things that he was doing as well. So it just makes you question, why would they, let's talk about Diddy for a minute. I mean, we're on the subject a little bit. Why are they just throwing him out all of a sudden in terms of him doing the dehumanizing things that he's been doing? Like, I don't agree with what he's been doing. The allegations that are out there, we know some of them are true. However, he's not the only person that has been doing these things. Yet, I don't agree with how they just push him out there, and there's other people who have, number one, understanding, and they agree with what he does, they're okay with it. And there's other people who have gone to the measures of doing the same thing that he's done. That may be on the list of the Epstein list that we all know about that came up a few years back, but no one talks about it anymore. So why do you think they just put him to the ringer, the fire?
I know this might sound really crazy, but I believe it's the same reason why R. Kelly got so much of that backlash. And I never want to say, oh, you know, he's a black man, so they're gonna point him out more. But yeah, that's exactly what's happening, because we had R. Kelly, we had Diddy right now with this whole situation. Don't get me wrong, what they did wasn't okay. But we also had people who are also Caucasian and other ethnic groups do very similar, if not worse things. And we only hear about it for a moment, and then it's just sidestepped. But this one is so emphasized. It makes so much publicity and news, and it's like, don't get me wrong, we should have held it accountable, but why didn't we hold this accountable to the same extent as we're holding them accountable?
To the same degree.
You see what I'm saying? They should be, for sure. Not saying that, but we need to hold Epstein accountable. The fact that they say he just killed himself and he's missing when nobody's seen his body, it just seems like the dude just disappeared and there was no real accountability done there. But this nigga Diddy is actually in jail as we speak and is facing trial. R. Kelly's been doing things for years. And my thing too as well is, why are these people getting away with this act and these malicious things for so long?
Exactly, that's the real
question. How
are
they getting away with this for so long? That means there's so many people around them that are not only seeing it, but allowing it to happen, if not protecting it, if not covering it up.
Exactly.
Because just like how it takes a village to raise a baby, it takes more than one person to create a tyrant.
And the fact that there's 120 victims in the persecution of Diddy, and then I believe they said 5 or 9 of them were minors from ages 9 to 16, that makes you wonder if he had dealings with human trafficking. I'm not trying to put that on him, but if that's the case, then that means the people who are in his circle know of him. And it's not just people of melanin descent. There's also people of other ethnic cultures who allow it to happen, who probably do the same thing that he does. But he's the one who gets caught with it. He's the one, and I think he should be in jail and serving time. However, we need to hold the other people accountable as well. Exactly.
People around him too that allowed it to happen too. And I'm talking about all the celebrities that were at the parties too.
Exactly.
They need to be put out as well, because my whole thing is that they say that, you know, an enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So what is the equivalence to that? The friend of my enemy is also my enemy.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
The friend of my enemy is also my enemy. So if Diddy's your enemy, or what he's doing, human trafficking, is your enemy, and he's cool with one of your favorite artists, you should start reevaluating that favorite artist as, okay, do I like this person as a person, or is it their music that I'm entertained to? Because some of these artists, people identify with them so much that they're willing to go to bat for them. They're willing to throw, even athletes, right? People will be getting so angry that an athlete missed a basketball shot or lost the game to the point where they'll throw something at them.
Or have threats, like literally.
You see what I'm saying?
Know how many people had death threats in the NBA?
Yeah. Or even musicians getting death threats. Or these people will love them so much that you can't say nothing bad about this person. You see what I'm saying? You can't call them out for anything. But now it's like the moment you see that they're having dealings with a person like Diddy, are you going to see them in the same light?
I'll say this, for some of the celebrities out there and some of the people in the industry, I feel bad for some of them because some of them got peer pressured into
finessed
to signing a contract and to doing certain things that they don't agree and that's not morally correct for them. However, there are some people in the industry who thrive and love some of the wicked, evil things of Hollywood that we all hear. You know what I mean? So I think there's a difference. However, the accountability piece still needs to be taken into account because some of those artists that you're talking about do need to be held accountable, because if we're saying like, look, man, you can't keep talking about this in your music, or you can't keep doing this behind the scenes, and if you do, we're stopping listening to your music. Well, their artists and their fan base is what makes them who they are. So we can hold that person to a certain degree.
Exactly.
So I was like, just like I was mentioning in the other episode about us boycotting, or it might have been this episode, I'm getting a little confused, but about us boycotting certain things, if they see the power that we have, then we get their attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, literally, I was just thinking that the fans have so much power in supporting these artists by not listening to their music, not supporting them, not going to their tours. But these artists, you guys have so much power over the record labels that are above y'all that y'all think y'all have no powers up. Just because they made you sign that contract, I know it probably goes way more into it, especially when families involved, especially when you have people who are in super high positions of power where they can pay for people to do things to your family, which I know is it's tough being an artist sometimes, especially when you have a fucked up contract. But still, you guys, if y'all start banding together, y'all start making better music, right? Different kind of music. You guys have a lot of power over these record labels that are above y'all, over these corporate executives, and over these managers, man. I'm telling you, I see a lot of artists that they literally only put out music. They don't do no interviews, but you know that they're woke. You know that they have more to say and more to talk about, but they can't because they know that their record labels, that's not the message that they're putting out. That's not the agenda that they're trying to go for.
100%.
Lil Durk and Meek Mill are a prime example. You could hear in the music that they want to talk about things that are going to uplift their community more, but they constantly have to sprinkle in that drill music. They have to sprinkle in the BS to feed the record labels, bro.
100%.
Wicked, bro.
And then just to circle back real quick, just to give a little bit more awareness to the human trafficking, I just want people to really understand that it's more serious than what we think. There's movies out there that you can see, the movie Taken, for example. There's another movie that's oh my God, there's another movie
with the black girl in the car, right? Damn, what was it called?
Bro, there's another movie that's oh my goodness, y'all probably,
now I gotta look it up.
Y'all could probably look in the comments and type it, but there's other movies that showcase certain events and certain things on how that takes place in the beginning. You think you're just taking your daughter to this camp where they go away for 4 weeks or whatever, someone knocks on your door. So many situations that people aren't privy to on how the whole entire thing begins, and the smuggling of children and the transportation of children. And to all those, like I say, who have children, y'all just, I feel like we all need to take a class or watch some YouTube videos or just be more privy into making sure your child is under surveillance and making sure, not surveillance, but under care, making sure you're watching them and knowing exactly where they are, what they're doing. And then also letting them know it's stranger danger. I mean, we all learned that in elementary class. It was funny at the time, but that's true. Stranger danger. I have a childhood friend who I grew up with who actually almost got abducted. She literally was chased down by this guy in his white van, but before he chased her, he said, hey, come here, I got some candy for you. You understand what I'm saying? They try to trick little kids, y'all know that, with some candy, stuff like that. And then she walked close to the van, he grabbed her arm, but she ended up being able to run away. So these situations are realer than people think. And just giving some awareness to that. And then we also wanted to break down the Diddy situation, because although his actions are disagreeable and they're just
disgusting.
They're disgusting. They're disgusting.
Because I reposted his videos so many times, though. I've reposted so many quotes and so many things.
1,000 baby oil bottles is crazy. I'm not close.
I know that there's fake news. Like, I don't want to believe it, because it's just like, what are you doing with all that, bro? That has to be an over-exaggerated number.
God, bro.
It has to be.
And then people were trying to.
Somebody said that I've lived 35 years on this earth, and I've never finished one full bottle of baby. What the fuck are you doing with 1,000?
And I'm not trying to.
That's funny, bro.
I don't know. I'm not trying to add to any of the allegations out there, but they did say that his house was only like 10, 15 minutes away from the port, in Miami, and he might have to do with that. But neither here nor there. We just wanted to shed light on it, and we wanted to get you guys to understand the importance of situational awareness and understanding children are at stake here. And as far as the port strike goes, they're not going to have any headlines talking about the other reason we're talking about, on them hearing screams from the container ports. They're not going to talk about that. Why? But why do you think they don't cover that? I can tell you why.
Because you want to know why? It's because the moment they do that, then the Miami Police Department is going to get involved. The NYPD is going to get involved. All the police department are going to get involved. They're going to get involved, and then the moment they get involved, these government entities are going to have to start having somebody to come talk to about it, and somebody's going to be held accountable. Somebody's going to go to jail. You feel me? And that's why they don't want to cover it, because the moment they cover it, other people are going to start investigating more.
Must be someone in power.
Somebody's in power is blocking it. Yeah. Somebody's in power that controls the media, saying, don't put this as a headline. That's why there's journalists that are going to the ports to try and talk to people, and they're cutting them off. They're saying, like, no journalists. So they're not letting the journalists talk to the port strikers.
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying?
So
there's reasons for it. You feel me? There's definitely reasons for it, and it's really just to save somebody's ass, bro.
This is why I say I don't like the government, bro. Because it's like, I feel like they have the means and the resources to inspect those containers
and prevent this from happening. Hell yeah,
and prevent something like this from happening. Because in other countries or in other parts of the states and other ports in other states, like, I feel like New York is probably one of the toughest ones to get any drug smuggling or anything through. They're a bit more anal about what comes in and what goes out. So I don't know if it's certain ports in different states that it's easier to get things through.
Probably.
I don't know what the case is. I just know that it's a sad tragedy. And shout out to all the port striker or the port workers who was on strike. I feel for y'all, and I understand what y'all did was needed for people to see that we can stand up what we believe for, right? They believe that they should be getting paid more for all the hard work that they do. And what did they do as a result? They went on strike. They organized. Let's just highlight how rare that is. They organized almost 50,000 people to collectively agree not to go to work, and it worked. They got what they wanted, that agreement.
In 5 days.
In 5 days.
5 days.
And if they didn't get what they wanted, I believe they would have went on strike for a whole nother week. And we really would have felt it then. So
yeah, honestly, I thought this was a tipping point to the recession, bro.
Yeah.
I really did. I really thought, I was like, oh, folks going on strike already? I thought we had at least 6 more months. I thought we had at least 6-8 more months. Folk already?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be the tip point. That's why when it got resolved so quick, I was like, okay.
And that is a huge relief, because I'm not going to lie, the economy right now is already crazy. Prices, the inflation rate is outrageous.
Election next month too?
It's outrageous. And the fact that the whole entire port strike would have caused prices to spike up even more. I mean, we still might see a minor increase, but it got resolved in a matter of 4 days. So, you know, shout out to all the brothers and sisters who were willing to sacrifice, you know, a lighter check for that week, just for the bigger picture. It's not only for y'all industry. I feel like it showed Americans as a whole that we got that right still.
We the people.
We the people, and we're the ones who run this show. That's what I really like, and that's my biggest takeaway of the whole entire strike, is that y'all can't make this country operate without us. You feel what I'm saying? And it's just so powerful to me. I love that they did that. I really do. I love that they did that, and I feel like we could do the same thing if we choose to come together. Now, what's your thought on? I know we kind of backtrack, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on automation and AI. There's already been major companies that have dropped tens of thousands of people because of automation. Big companies like Google, you know, Microsoft, things like that. Now, what is your take on the whole automation thing? And do you feel as though workers like the port workers will be able to go on strike and effectively get what they want as far as job security as the way they did?
It depends on the industry, and it depends on how far or how close they are to automating that industry already. The reason why the port strike was able to work so much is because they haven't developed the technology to have workers that can lift up equipment, do all the rigging that they would do, right? Control the crane with so much precision, accuracy. There's a certain technology that bio-learning or computer machine learning hasn't developed yet into that stage where they can actually have robots and computers to do all of those things. You see what I'm saying? I think you were the one that told me this. There's a port in either Japan or China that they do have something like that where it's only 25 to I think 40% people are operating it that are actually human beings, right? But think about that. That's 25 to 40%. Us here in America. And the one thing too is that China and Japan, they have a different form of economy where it's more of a communistic economy where everybody's kind of like even compared to here where we have a capitalistic economy where people are trying to get ahead, people are trying to make money. So
competition.
You see what I'm saying? So China's always had that kind of way of doing things. That's why China and Japan have a very high poverty rate, even though they're a very booming economy and they have a very high population, they have a very high poverty rate and homeless rate for their country as well, because of so much of the technology is taking the jobs that people would typically work. So with automation here in the U.S., they haven't developed that just yet. And that's why the port strike there on the East Coast was able to be so effective. So it really depends on what industry we're talking about on whether they're going to go on strike or not and whether it's going to be the resolution that they're looking for. Like for me, right, I'm not going to share too much, but the industry that I'm in, I already see that they're trying to make us go towards automation. And the reason why is because the workflow that I have, the tools that I have, is like robots and AI is checking everything for me. I just need to do my own critical thinking on, okay, this is probably the problem, but the AI already checked for certain things for me. You see what I'm saying?
I see.
And so much so to the point where now typically what I would do, right, in my line of work is that I would select what category of resolution that I need to do to fix whatever client, right, that I'm working with at that time, whatever their problem is. I would have to select what tool, select what path, or select whatever I did to do it. And then leave notes as well. I actually type up notes.
Okay.
Now, I don't even need to select the category anymore. All I do is type in a couple of notes of what we did. And the AI is following my voice and following the client's voice to figure out what path I went for the resolution.
That's crazy.
And then they're going to take my notes and match it up to create more of a okay, this is how we troubleshoot and fix people's resolutions all the time. Because I know in the next near future, when the moment you call and pick up your phone, if you have an internet technology issue, you're going to think that is a person on the other line, but that is a robot. and they're going to be answering your questions and having a full-blown conversation with you. And it's going to sound just like a human being because they're taking our voices, they're taking our speech patterns with the customers, and they're analyzing it, putting it into machine learning so they can learn. Think about it. Just have a conversation with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will answer you as if ChatGPT is a real person.
So let me ask you, do we go on strike? Some of us who have jobs that are replaceable by AI, or do we get with the program and switch and develop a skill set or some sort of craft that will help us?
Bit of both, bro. Bit of both.
Okay.
A bit of both, and the reason why is because there's this thing called a slippery slope. And what it means is that, like, just like if you ever go snowboarding, if you roll a snowball right big enough, and you start rolling it down like a very large hill, it starts picking up more snow, and the snowball gets bigger.
More momentum.
We've seen that in movies, but that's a real thing. That's a real phenomenon. That's literally how it's real. Like, it will really happen. I swear to God, you do it.
Yeah.
And that's why they tell you, if you go to Colorado mountains, they say don't make snowballs and roll them down because they will get big and hit into somebody, right? So a slippery slope is when something's already falling too fast for it to be caught. I believe AI is a slippery slope already. It's already so much in motion that it's very hard for us to kind of just put a pause and stop it. That all we could kind of do is maybe, like put water on it or try and slow it down as much as possible.
Okay.
From the adaptation that we're trying to do. Because the moment if we do go through a recession and all of these companies aren't able to get loans from the government to afford paying people payroll, what are they going to do? They're going to fire people, right? They're going to take the little bit of money that they have and they're going to invest into technology to replace these people. So once you lose your job, it's not like you're going to be able to find another one. So the best bet is either we slow down that progression of automation as much as possible. If you are in an industry where you feel as though it can be replaced within the next 5 to 10 years, and you were thinking about that as a career, think about maybe shifting now. Or if you're in an industry that is easily replaceable, like some customer service jobs or like waitress jobs, certain things like that, stack your coins, get as much as you can now, but start creating an exit plan into going to another industry, something that can be changed by automation, like sales, like doctoring, right? Well, even then, bro, like nursing, but then even then, though, when it comes to like surgeons, they're even trying to create robots to be able to do brain surgery.
There's no way I'm trusting a robot to do surgery.
That's very far down the line, though. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's very far down the line.
Similar to the movie Black Panther when they were able to put the person to the machine. I forgot who was injured. It's like not the hyperbolic time chamber. What am I thinking of? What machine was that when they were on a ship and he was in you don't know what I'm talking about?
In Black Panther, right?
No, Black Panther, but I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z, when he was on a ship, and Goku, when he was on the way to planet Namek,
and then
and he was in that.
With the gravity?
And then no.
When he was healing?
Yes, when he was healing, and Frieza. My bad, it was on Frieza's ship. Vegeta was in it. There's not a name for it.
It is. It's called the recovery chamber.
Okay, my bad.
Recovery chamber.
I did all that.
It's a saying, recovery chamber. Yeah.
But something like the recovery chamber, where it's like, it's not humans working on you anymore. It's oh man, that's scary, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Imagine that you get injured and they just put you somewhere and there's just robots just working on you, just like the Matrix or just like iRobot. They had in one of the I think it was a cut scene where they showed you Will Smith, his arm that was made out of robot. They show you the robot come and work on his arm while he's there, and he just picks it up and he's able to move it around again. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that is
work. Okay, I see what you're saying.
But that's very far down the line. So that's why when I said doctoring, I'm like, that might be a good industry for right now, but in the next 50 years,
who knows?
You see what I'm saying? So people have to be very selective of the industry that they stay in long term, especially with AI. So that's why the only thing we could kind of do is try and slow it down as much as possible and start thinking ahead. Don't focus on, we could try and influence the government. We could try and influence these companies by signing contracts, going on strikes, right? Telling them like, hey, put policies in so AI isn't taking away human workers or human capital, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, let's not think that these motherfuckers are gonna save us, bro.
They don't have a track record of doing so, so why would we think anything new?
Exactly. A slave master, we do not have a track record of slave masters freeing their slaves. Mm-hmm. So let's not think a tyrant suddenly is gonna become a saint. Exactly. It's suddenly gonna change things. No, we have to start taking accountability. We have to start taking control, focusing on what we can do and what we can influence, and start building our own systems. Mm-hmm. Building our own systems for sure.
I would say automation, man, I'm starting to see it more. I go into Walmart and I don't see no cashiers. Like it's all self-checkout. Even some grocery stores have self-checkout now. And it's like, yo, I went to the grocery store like 3 a.m. on the weekend one time and I didn't even see anybody in there. I'm like, am I tripping right now? But they had self-checkout, so but the guy, he was there. He was on a smoke break. I'm like, ain't no way, because somebody could rob this whole joint right now. But yeah, I mean.
But think about it though, right? You don't see no people at the self-checkout. You see people stocking the shelves though, and you see somebody there at security. But imagine very soon, there's gonna be a robot that's stocking that shelf, and there's gonna be a robot standing at that door for security.
Nah, you know what I think it's gonna be? It's gonna be a barcode on each product that's in the store. And if you don't ring it up and pay for it, when you pass a certain threshold or getting close to the door, it's going to be locked. You're not going to be able to get out. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? It's going to be some sort of technology like that. And then, you try to get out, the RoboCop going to get you. Imagine RoboCops,
that's
bro.
That's a real thing, bro. And in certain parts of Europe, they got this it looks like a droid from Star Wars. I swear to God, it looks like a droid from Star Wars, where he's just walking around the city, like on the streets, and it says police on it, and it has cameras, and it's constantly watching for people.
That's crazy.
As if, just like how back in the day, police used to have police patrols where they would go on foot and they're just walking the streets. Mm-hmm. The reason why they took that away is because so many police were frisking people wrongfully, right? So many people were trying to. So much wicked shit that was happening around that time, because that was around, black crime and stuff like that, with the crack and shit or whatever. But certain places in Europe, they have those robots that are walking the streets already, bro. And now you would think about it, somebody said, oh, this ain't catching nobody, right? Now you could just literally push it over and it falls and it can't get back up. But you got to think about it, just took I took a picture of you.
Yeah.
They could find you, bro.
Absolutely. That's crazy.
And now imagine when the robot starts getting legs and they could run after your ass.
There's already robo-dogs. There's already
robo-dogs. You see what I'm saying?
Man,
it's not popular. It's not a big thing just yet, but they're working on making it a regular thing for police and law enforcement. And that's my thing. It's like we spending all this money on other countries, spending all this money on replacing humans. Why can't we spend some money on actually doing things that are going to help us? Like programs, activities for the youth.
They don't
you see what I'm saying? Like,
they don't have the people's
like affordable
best
therapy for people. You feel me?
They don't have our best interests. That's why we're just helping the economy in some way, and they're trying to control us as much as possible. And I feel as though, like, hey, they can't control us all the way, so they're just trying to get rid of us and cripple us with the job replacements and other things like that. So.
So, I mean, we definitely talked a lot on this episode, though, bro. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're going to leave it off from here, right? Because this conversation, I can already tell this will go into more things. More things. There's so much more we could talk about.
A lot of controversy we talked about.
So much more we could talk about. But just to leave you out with some things about things that we talked about, as far as the hurricane, right? I hope everybody's being safe. Prayers to all or any family that was affected. Anybody who works on the ports or know anybody working on the port, good on y'all for doing the strike. I think I maybe should have held hold a little bit longer than just 5 days, right? Or maybe asked for a little bit. I hope they gave that 70% increase that they was asking for.
I think they did.
I hope they did. So, so with that being said, until the next episode, right? I'm your host, Hugh Huncho.
And I'm your co-host, Trey. Make sure y'all like.
Yeah, back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. They get not tired of me never.